Testing 1 2 3. Hi, this is K Designs. I just got back from doing a 30-minute video with no sound, so now I just have to start it again. Anyway, this is the video that I promised. What you can see here is the URL. When you enter your URL, you'll be able to see to access the back end. So what you're gonna do is when you type in your URL, when you get the domain sorted out, you can type in the URL, and then after the .com you're gonna put a / and go wp-admin, and it should be able to take you to this page. When you go on this page, you can already see my user and password is already saved. This details you'll be able to get access to it. I'm gonna create a user profile for you so you can log in and create blog posts and all that. So once that's sorted out, you can go log in, and it should take you to the back end. Once you've got to the back end, you should be able to see this, which says dashboard. This is your dashboard, and it's basically what the website back end consists of. The WooCommerce plugin that I was telling you about. When you go to settings, this was the events tab that I was telling you about, but I'm not gonna go into that. We're gonna go through payments. I'm just gonna show you what I was talking about before. Here we have direct payments. Previously I did this cash on delivery, but I unchecked this. You can see that here we have pay fast. Trying to enable it, so we only have one thing enabled here, which is direct bank transfer. When you click on manage, right, sorry, I'm going too fast with this. So it's WooCommerce settings. When you go on settings, you should see another tab on top here, and then you click on payments, and then here you can see it says, it shows you your payment. You click on manage, then here you can see your settings here. So enabled bank transfer. Over here is where you can access your details. So here, for instance, I'm going to put my name, account number, bank name, Standard Bank, branch code, whatever that is, and whatever that is, Swift code. So whatever you put in here, when you click add an account, it automatically adds your bank account details. So what happens on the front end when a user makes a direct bank transfer, they will have to pay directly into your bank account. So once they pay into your bank account, they'll be able to see your details here, your account number and everything. So they use their order ID as a reference, and once they make the payment, you'll be able to see their payments on the back end until the funds have reflected into your account. So that's that. And then I'm gonna dive into the website. Over here we have stories. I just did this now 30 minutes ago, and we have blogs as well. So here we can see there's a title text and Nala stories, and this is how you create a blog post. So when we click on Josh's story, we can see that it's already nicely customized, which I'm going to show you just now. And I go back and I click on Nyla's story. We can see that I have done the same thing, which I did show in my previous video. And then over here on blogs, we've got the same thing. So I'm just gonna delete this blog, and then I'm gonna show you how to do it again. Okay, so I'm just gonna start from the bottom, this story I've already done, so I'm gonna move on to another story. What do we have here? Zach. We're gonna move on to Zach's story. I'm gonna show you exactly how to do it. So it's Zach's story. Okay, so we go on the back end when we try to when we wanna create our new post. What we're gonna do is okay, this is fine. It's crashing a bit now. Come on. Okay, so before that this loads back again, I'm just gonna explain you what I did with the pictures. So the pictures, I made them all 800 by 800 so that they can have the same size on each post. Then here you can have Josh's picture, which is 800 by 800. Just bear with me. Zach was born with tetralogy of Friday. That's right. Okay, so in the meantime, I'm just gonna edit his picture until Google loads up. So what I'm gonna do is Zach. Over here we have his image. We're gonna make it 800 by 800. Here I'm gonna say Zach blog. Okay, great. So now that's loaded. We can go to create a post. So what we're gonna do when we want to create a blog or story, we go to posts, add new. Over here we can see it says all posts, which I'm gonna show you what that does. All posts basically show you what all the history of the post that I've done so far. Here was a generic post that we did. Here is Josh's story, and here's another story, and here's another blog post. So here we can see under categories we have our blogs and our stories. So when we go to stories, we can see which stories are added here. There's 1, 2, and here we can see exactly that it's 1, 2. And then we go to blogs, we can see it's blogs and blogs. Under categories, we can see we have 2 blogs here. So in order to separate, then I'm gonna show you how you can do just that. So here we're gonna have what we're gonna do here when we create add new. We're basically gonna do three things on the settings. Here it's just adding the blog description or story description. Then we go on the right, we're gonna click category. Since it's a story, we're gonna check this, and then that's gonna be saved. And under tags, we're gonna just put a few tags that we want for our story. This is just to show for metadata, and also it's gonna help with SEO. So we have a few tags. I'm just gonna take a few, and then see I misspelled his name. It's supposed to be Zach. And then 3 things. We have a site description, our stories, tags, and then here we're gonna have our featured image. So what a featured image does is what appears here on your front end. Whatever you set on the back is what appears on the front. So remember we set it 800 by 800, so it appears the same size. So what we're gonna do here, you can either upload your files here. When you click select files, it should be able to open for you. But what I do usually, I go in the media library, and what I do here is just drag and drop. So I have that, I drag that, and I drop it in here. Once I've dragged and dropped that, you can now see a featured image here, and I click publish. Once that's published, I can go to, once that's published, we're not gonna do that just yet. We go on the right hand side. Now here we're gonna click, okay, let's go to view post first. And when we go here, we refresh the page, we can see now it appears on the front end without a story though. So we have that, but without that text, so we still are gonna have to edit that in. And I see here that the image is kind of cropped, so I think there's a width that you actually set. Could this work? We're gonna go through the settings afterwards. Just gonna show you. Okay. So when you click view post, it shows you how it appears. But what we want to do is we just want to make that appear as nice as how we did this. So what we're gonna do now is go to edit post, because you can just see it's just what WordPress does by default. But what we're gonna do is load pre-made layouts that I did just for this the purpose of this video. On the right hand side here, when we go to edit post, we're gonna click use visual builder. Once we use that, we can say full width and hide, and then we update. Once we updated that, then we can go to use visual builder to see our custom post. I'm gonna start building. I'm gonna close that for now. I just want to show you what this means. We have our full section, we have our subsection, so we can see there's a green. So we have a full section, we have our subsection, this section, and then we have our modules settings. So what we're gonna do here is, I've already made a pre-made layout. What you want to do is click this blue icon, go to add from library, and here you're gonna click block 1, and you can see this has been added. So what we're gonna do, you can see there's a white space here. We click this section to delete, and then we're gonna click this blue icon again, add from library, block 2. Then we can see that's that added section, subsection, modules. And then we can see here there's a green column, but it's separated. We have a module here and a module here. When we click this column structure, we can see it's separated into 2. Here we can have different layouts. To separate it into 3, we can see 1, 2, 3. but here we're gonna just keep it simple. We put it as 2. We can see it separated, and here we have our module settings and our column settings, row settings, and here we have our section settings. So now when we click this blue icon again, add from library, block 3, and that's where our story completes itself. Okay, here, as I said before, we have our module settings. We click on settings. Here we can be able to edit our text settings. When we go down here, we can see its content. Right now it's heading 1, so that's why it appears as it does. We have our title here and our body text. When we go to design, we can actually see how we can go deep into editing how we want it to look like. So when we go to heading text, when we hover on that, we can see that it hovers the heading. When we hover on text, we can see where it hovers. So when we hover there, we can see how we can change that. We can go from bold to extra bold. We can go from bold to light. And here we're going to stick to bold. Then we can also change the default style, the font style. We can change the color. You can just input your hex code, or you can go through whatever color you want it. Here we're going to keep it to white. We can change the size of the way it appears. You can see it's very flexible, this theme. And you can change the spacing. Now we're going to keep it to, you can change the line height of how we separate this from that, the height. And then we can give it some shadow. See, it's very, can do a lot of things. We can change the size of how we want it to appear. We're going to leave that to default. Sizing, I guess it's yeah, this was default. And then from here we're just gonna change the name to Zach's Journey. We leave that as it is. I'm gonna change the picture to what we did. So what I did here was I went to the module settings, and we have our image here. We can click that and change the picture. Now we see that it's changed. So now what we want to do now is find something that relates to kind of like the story and the theme of what he's going through. So now you can see here he had an open heart surgery and he was in ICU. So now we're going to look for a background picture that can cover this, because the host doesn't really relate to what's happening there. So I'm going to go on my favorite website for images, which is Unsplash. You can see this. It said looks like surgery. Let's Google surgery. Can we get that? This might be a bit convenient. I think this should I think this should be nice. I'm gonna take that. So what I want to do is just go back to his story, click on this section because it's contained within this section. Click on the section settings, background, and then we're gonna click to change. Then what I'm gonna do now is just drag and drop that image again. So once I've dragged and dropped it, I can now upload the image once it's done loading, and then you can see how, you know, it sticks with the theme and how nice it flows. So now here, what we're gonna do, since we don't have, we can delete these sections since we only have like just one text. So what we're gonna do is copy that text and just put it as one thing. So So we have the story, then we're gonna go to design, maybe just change that, and then here we're gonna copy the title text, and under the module settings we click the setting and we paste questions. And then what we're gonna do is just size this picture so that it goes in line with that, the text here. When I go to spacing, then we're gonna just fix the padding. Gonna just line it up in the middle so that it just looks much neater. So you can see it's almost there. Let's go about 150. I think 150 should do. So you can see it's a bit, okay, 155, 60, 260. Then we can have that. Then maybe if we want, we can have a section, maybe 2-column section with images. I'm just gonna put dummy images now here, and then I'm gonna put another image. See, just play around with that. I can just delete that, expand that. So that's sex journey. Maybe we can have a title saying let's give it a heading one. The journey to recovery, and then we just center this text, and yeah. I mean, we can have something like that. Just play around with it. And then you see it can look different from the other blogs. Then here we're gonna have, I'm gonna just search for other images, maybe like doctors operating. You can choose this. Then we can have this as well. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go through that quickly. Let's look at the size of that. It's 800 by 800. So let's just make sure the sizes are correct. Gonna place that. No, that's the same image. And that is this. I'm gonna save that. Come on. Okay, let's save that. call it sec1. Let me take another image. Let's move it a bit to the right. That's fine. Oh, come on. Save that. Go back to site. Module settings. Drag and drop. First one should be, use this one. And for the second one, so you can see it's just something like that. Very clean, very professional. Title text should be centered, so let's center this. So now we can see everything is aligned properly, and so this white part here is what WordPress does on by default. With if you have people that want to comment, it's just this white background can be changed. Maybe you can have something black, so I'm gonna just have to look into that at a later stage. And then yeah, that's it. Then we go to stories. Should be able to see what stories are there. So now we can see Zach's stories, Nana's stories, Josh's stories, and that's how you create a blog post and stories. Now if you wanna change it to blogs, when I click on blogs, you're gonna see it's gonna appear on both, since these are both ticked. So when I go to blog and I refresh, you'll be able to see it. So there you can see Zach's story. Then I can uncheck it again and just make it. I can uncheck it again. Then we can see where it appears. So if I refresh, you can see that's removed. Okay, so now I'm gonna go to that event with Quicket. Then here we can have, you can see I did the same thing here. So now we're gonna just have your event that I added before. So where we have here, we have events. I'm just gonna open this so we can have the right size. Okay. What I'm gonna do here, just wait for that to load. Close that. No. Close that. Right, so I have your event here. Choose this one. Okay, so okay, for now we're gonna for now let's just put it as it is, because it doesn't seem to fit. So I have that there. So under, I have here view event. You can see the event is there. So now I'm just gonna title it properly found. And here we're gonna have an exploration of what just say come and join us for this interesting event with amazing stories. And here I'm gonna just say, because found sounds just like blank, so I'm just gonna put here the human storyboard presents found, and you can see that let's change the text of that. Let's have it in blue. Yeah, it's much better. Then we're gonna have to like center it, and also body text, put a bit of color. I'm just gonna, so here we're gonna have the view event, and yeah, I'm gonna put the link www.humanstoryboard, and then to book event I'm gonna use the Quicket link, so it doesn't actually direct them to what we had before. So there's Quicket. Okay, and then over here I'm gonna just save these E1. I'm just gonna delete. So we're just gonna have one event for the page, and then let's just separate this one. Okay, now let's separate that. So in the person books, they should be able to go to Quicket. Let's say book event should give them your direct link, so they're gonna be quicket.co.za dash and then your event. So when they click there, they should be able to purchase that ticket directly, so you can understand how that works. Okay, I think that's sorted now. So you can see here on events, when I go book event, it directs them to that link. So over here you're gonna have your basically what the Quicket's well, the event that's already on Quicket, and then they'll be able to pay for it directly. So that's sorted out. And yeah, then just let me know if you have any questions, but this, I think this should work better, where you can have just the view event where they can be able to view on another page, and then book event, it directs them to Quicket instead of you know, going through the site, which we're gonna look at a later stage. But if you have any questions or anything else, I think I've shown you everything. I think that should be it for me. Thanks.